You can tell from their filmography that these guys do like quite quirky, but also rather gross humor movies. And yeah, that's exactly what you get. Hi, I'm Kit. This is Vernon, and we just watched Zombieland Double Tap. So Vernon, what did we just watch?
We just watched Zombieland, double the budget of the first movie.
And was it worth it?
I mean, almost the same things happen, the same story beats happen, but with a bigger budget for slightly more flashy action scenes and set pieces.
So you're saying it's repetitive?
I think it follows the original Zombieland formula very well. If it works, why fix it?
And what was that formula?
The formula was basically Mark Zuckerberg Zombie Slayer. It's basically a very rare action comedy. It's in 2009, when there were a lot of horror themed movies with zombies and werewolves and vampires that were all aiming at the teen market. This one set out to reclaim zombie movies, not for horror, not for the teen market, but straight up for comedy.
Reclaim?
Yeah.
Reclaim for whom? I mean, I thought, was zombie movies ever comedy?
Edgar Wright thought they were zombie movies made great comedy, and he kind of proved it with
Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead. He kind of proved it with Shaun of the Dead. But this one had a unique charm to it. It's basically Jesse Eisenberg playing a type A neurotic personality who survives the zombie apocalypse due to an arbitrary set of rules that are kind of like entertainingly animated as infographics along the course of the movie.
No, I thought it was an interesting gimmick.
It is a gimmick.
Not because it was arbitrary, but because it was based on his very specific experience. And it was shown in a very show don't tell way how he arrived at such a list.
And yet, even though it's show don't tell, the movie still makes a point of flashing the rule setters in really big subtitles on the screen, which also happens in this movie.
No, what I'm saying is that at first the movie starts off with them with this seemingly arbitrary set of rules. So you think, yeah, okay, this is weird, but yeah, okay.
We can go along with it, but it could get tiresome until you sort of the story sort of sets out why the rules, or illustrates the rules for us, the necessity of the rules through various encounters with the zombies.
Yeah, they show him having close escapes with the zombies. Then he updates his list, and that's the show don't tell.
Yeah, and that's where the arbitrary bit comes in, because he's clearly building on the list he's clearly making up the rules as they go along.
Yeah, but that's more to the first movie than that. There's also the characters.
And the great character chemistry between Jesse Eisenberg and Woody Harrelson and Emma Stone.
And Abigail Breslin.
Who also returns for this one, does she?
All four of them return, yeah.
Yes, that's right. And also the original director and writing team also return for this.
And this sequel is a bit interesting because when Zombieland came out in 2009, not all of them were famous. Emma Stone definitely was not. So Abigail Breslin really made it big a few years before Zombieland with Little Miss Sunshine. But
I think Zombieland was the first really big commercial hit, whereas Little Miss Sunshine was an indie hit.
Yeah, but even then, I mean, from the budget, 25 million roughly.
Yeah,
Or
25 million for the original film.
that's quite a small budget movie by Hollywood standards.
And the sequel, even though it has double the budget, is still a really small Hollywood movie.
It it does
It's
feel
about 48 mil.
it does feel like a small movie.
Director and writers, basically this was the very first big break for the entire team. And they went on to do more famous movies, or more popular movies.
Like
Deadpool and Deadpool 2.
the writers.
And yes, correct, the writers.
How about the director?
Venom.
Okay, so you can tell from their filmography that these guys do like quite quirky, but also rather gross humor movies. And yeah, that's exactly what you get. Yeah, so I really enjoyed the movie, but there's nothing much for me to analyze about it.
Because anything you could analyze from this movie was already done in the previous movie.
I guess
There's very little new things in this movie,
I guess it's
aside
not
from double the budget.
it's not very heavily plot or even character driven. It seems actually a bit like a TV show.
Yeah. It's basically a situation comedy, sort of, a situation action comedy, which they sort of get into 3 to 4 major situations that are both funny and dangerous and gross, and get themselves out of it with their usual bickering and their character chemistry.
Yeah, so it's a bit inventive. The fights, the violence, the bickering. But there's like no real substantial theme or exploration of zombies or post-apocalypse survival.
Aside from more short lists and guides to surviving Zombieland. They've updated the list.
It's strong on attitude, the same way that Deadpool is strong on attitude. And that's enough to carry the whole movie.
Basically, Woody Harrelson, like in the first movie, is strong enough to carry the entire movie here again.
I think
And
the other characters also
pull their weight.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but do you know that Woody Harrelson actually was the most expensive item in the budget for the first movie, and he waived his fees on the condition that the cast and crew go vegan. So I think it's a huge sacrifice.
Yeah, but it's got nothing to do with his on-screen presence, which he does have a lot of. But it's just that the other 3 are also excellent actors. Yeah, I mean, Emma Stone won an Oscar in 2017 for La La Land. So
Yeah, but sort of if you look at this not as a zombie comedy but as a situation comedy, yeah, all the main characters and the supporting cast do their very understated jobs of under delivering their lines, except for Woody Harrelson, who I suppose is cast because he's bigger than life, and that kind of understatement and underperformance actually makes it even more funny. And the deadpan humor actually carries through.
and the pacing is good. I always like quick pacing. You never feel bogged down. They go to different locations. They don't stay too long, and even the different locations are quirky, but you also don't get too bogged down in the background of the location.
Yeah, they're not overproduced, and they don't outstay their welcome, and they don't scream out to you that this movie was indeed made for double the budget of the first, although it does look more expensive.
For example, the last location is called Babylon, and it's this pacifist paradise, this oasis of calm and hippies and good people in the middle of all the zombies. And it's a bit of a trope in these post-apocalyptic stories, and there's normally some kind of sinister, dark secret behind this peaceful land.
Either that or they're the ones who get eaten up in spectacular fashion by the zombies.
But
either way.
But this doesn't happen in this movie. It's exactly what it appears to be, and that's it.
Yes, expectations subverted. Basically, for me, even though the film was entertaining, the cast really hit off very, very well with each other. I felt that, maybe about half an hour after the movie ends, you kind of realize or come to realization that, we didn't watch anything new.
It's a popcorn movie. It's a fun movie that you can watch and forget, and you can rewatch if it's on the TV in a year's time.
Yeah, in fact, it's a movie that, if you weren't paying attention, you might think that you were watching the original Zombieland movie. But, that it's quite rare for a sequel to come out 10 years after the first movie to be as successful and stay to the exact same formula as the first movie and still kind of succeed in a way.
So it's the Lionel Richie of movies, yeah. If you're a fan of Deadpool, I think you'll like this movie. But it probably will not have such a rabid fan base as Deadpool. I don't think it'll be a cult movie, even though the first Zombieland kinda almost was a cult movie.
Yeah, but I think it's because of the cameo from Bill Murray in the first movie. They kind of give him another cameo in this sequel, but I don't think this cameo here works as well, actually. That's one of the tiny repetitions that I thought actually fell a little flat this time round.
If you watch the movie and you're wondering what Bill Murray cameo, that's because you skipped out at the end credits.
So, watch a movie again, go to cinema again and watch it again, and stay for the end credits.
And come and watch us again next week. Bye.
Bye bye.